Hello, I'm Ms. Chan, and in this chapter, we are going to talk about comparative and superlative adjectives. Before we talk about what these names actually mean, first of all, let's take a look at what adjectives are. So here I have 3 sentences. Can you spot the adjectives? In sentence 1, the adjective is smart, and it describes the noun student. The student is smart. Sentence 2, the adjective is easy, and it describes the English quiz. In sentence 3, the adjective is convenient. This time is a longer adjective, and it describes the action of taking the MTR to get to the mall. As you can see, every time we see an adjective, it always comes with a noun. Adjectives describe nouns, and we can usually find them either before a noun, like in sentence number 1, you see it's right before the word student, or after a linking verb be. Be can be changed into very common forms, like is, mr, was, were, etc. So here you can see that the adjective easy comes after the verb was, and here convenient comes after the verb is. And the reason why we're adding adjectives to our sentences is because adjectives give us more detail, right? We know more about the student, the quiz, and also the MTR and the mall. So by adding adjectives, our writing improves. So it's important for us to learn how to use adjectives. And in this chapter in particular, we are going to talk about how we use adjectives to compare different things. Therefore, the term comparative adjectives. So we compare different nouns. Let's look at this example. We have 2 rockets here. You can see that the red rocket is fast. However, the yellow rocket is faster, right? Here, faster is the comparative adjective form of the original word fast. So by adding er, we are comparing 2 things. We also have another word, which is the word than. So whenever we use er, we always use the word than as well. Faster than. The 2 words are used together. And I can, like what I said in the previous slide, we can also use the adjective before a noun, right? So I can move it here, right before rocket, and say, oh, the faster rocket. The faster rocket. So this is also a comparative adjective used before the noun. Sometimes adjectives are longer. They have, when we talked about long and short adjectives, we usually count adjectives that have 3 syllables or more as a long adjectives. Like here, successful is a long adjective because there are 3 syllables. They are successful. Okay, 3 syllables. So here, the red team, I can say that the red team is successful in making a rocket. However, the yellow team is more successful than them. As you can see, in both cases, I use the word than. Okay, when we compare 2 things, we use the word than between the adjective and the noun. Faster than, more successful than. Okay. What if I want to do it the other way around? I want to use the word less to say that which rocket is less fast. It's slower. You may say it's slower, or you can also say that it's less fast. So, like here in this example, the sun is big. It is bigger than the rocket on the left. So, at the same time, you may say the rocket is less big than the sun. Mind you, we are still comparing 2 things, so we still need the word than. However, a very common mistake would be that students tend to they think they are comparing 2 things, right? So they tend to still use the word bigger, the comparative form. Remember, the comparative is used once only. So if you already add the word less here, we know it's 少咗. You're doing the comparison. Then we no longer have to add er. Look here again. Whenever we add less, we just say less big. We use the original adjective. What about superlative adjective then? Sometimes we may want to compare 3 things or more. Then the form that we just talked about is not applicable anymore. Let's look at this world map. Do you know where this is? The red dot? It is Australia. Australia is a big continent. However, here, Africa is bigger than Australia. But there are even bigger continents, right? Including Asia. Asia here among the 3 is the biggest continent. As you can see, for superlative adjectives, we compare 3 things or more. And we change the ER into EST. EST. Okay? This is the case for short adjectives because big is still a short adjective. It only has 1 syllable. What about for longer adjectives? Like here, ancient is a long adjective. So here the Australian civilization is ancient. It's old, however, Chinese civilization is more ancient than Australia's. It's even older. So we would say it's more ancient. Okay. When we are talking about long adjectives, we only add the word more. What about for, just like in the previous example, we use more successful than. So either we add ER or we add more. What about for the third one? We will say the most ancient. The African civilization is the most ancient among the 3. And again, I would like to draw your attention to these words because students very often miss them. When we're doing comparative adjectives, comparing 2 things, we need the word then. And in the case of superlative adjectives, we need to add the word the, okay? Asia is the biggest. The African civilization is the most ancient. Okay? So we always add the word the or the word then. See, different colors. So we need to think about whether we're comparing 2 things, then blue. 3 things, then the yellow box. Again, for superlative adjectives, we can also mean the same thing in a negative way. And here, instead of using less, we will use the word the least. Let's take a look at these 3 sentences. Taxi rides are expensive. Airplane flights are more expensive. And space travel, which is, the talk of the town these days. Several scientists are trying to, are involving in something we call the space race. So they are trying to build their own rockets. They are trying to compete to see who can explore the space the fastest among them. Again, superlative adjective. And here, space travel is the most expensive. Okay, take a look at the adjectives again. So this, because expensive is a long adjective, I only add more in the most. What if I want to say it the other way around? Let's begin with space travel. Well, space travel is expensive. In comparison, airplane flights are less expensive than space travel. And among the 3 of them, taxi rides are the least expensive. Please don't forget the word the here among the 3. Okay, here's in conclusion. Let's revisit the main concept. I would like you to work together with me. The original adjective is a short one, tidy. If I want to say compare 2 things, I would say our class is tidy. We are tidier than 2A. What if I want to say it the negative way? If I want to begin the sentence with 2A, then I would say 2A is less tidy than us. Mind you, remember in this case, because we already are using the word less, we don't need to change tidy into tidier anymore. There's no point. Please don't use comparative twice. Superlative, 3 things. We are the tidiest class in the form. 2A is the least tidy class in the form. Again, I would like you to look here. It's because tidy is a short adjective, so when in superlative form, we change it into tidiest instead of adding most. The tidiest, we don't need the word most anymore. And then for superlative form, if I want to say in a negative way, we will say the least tidy. Again, we don't have to say the least tidiest. Please don't repeat using superlative. What if the adjective is a long adjective here, expensive? So I can say my car is expensive. It is more expensive than my bike. My bike is less expensive than my car. Superlative form, my car is the most expensive thing I own. And my bike is the least expensive thing I own. In a way, you may say that longer adjectives are easier to convert because basically, as you can see, the adjective expensive remains unchanged all the time, right? You see the word expensive, expensive, expensive here as well. The only thing you need to do is to add the word more than, less than, the most, the least. However, when it is a short adjective, you will need to think about when to add the EREST, when to add the less and the least. Okay? There will be situations where more rules have to be applied. You may also refer to your book Unit 2 for a similar table. So here, the first exceptional case will be adjectives ending in Y. So we don't keep it. Instead, we change the Y into I. So like lovely, lovelier, funny, funnier with the I. We also have the word good and bad. Good, we will change it into better than and also the best. Bad, worse than, the worst. We can also, when counting different objects, we will also have to convert many and little differently. So many will be changed into more than, many, more than, and also the most. Little, less than, and the least. Okay, I spend little time completing the puzzle. Miss Chan spends less time than me. My dad spends the least time on the puzzle. Okay? And the last one would be far, talking about distance. Okay, 好遠, far. 遠啲, we will change the spelling of the adjective even. So you may choose to say farther than, farther than. Some people will spell it like this, further. Up to you. Either one, both are fine. Far, farther than, and then the superlative form will be the farthest. The farthest. Okay. As you can see here, I don't know why, but we have to add the word H here as well. So please make sure that you check the spelling, and remember it's father, not, your dad. So there's also an R here. Please don't forget the R. There will be another situation where objects are the same in some way, right? What if you want to compare two things and they're very similar? Then we can use the sentence structure as adjective S. Let's take a look. Here I have two planets, planet red and planet yellow. They are of the same size, so I can say planet red is as big as planet yellow, as big as. Okay? I can also use it for a longer adjective like as successful as expensive as convenient as. Okay? However, if they are not the same, this is the last sentence structure I would like to introduce today. So let's compare the sun and planet red. So if you want to say that, no, they're not of the same size, you may also use the structure as, adjective as. But here we add the word not. Planet red is not as big as the sun. Not as big as the sun. In other words, it is the same in meaning as planet red is less big than the sun. Less big than the sun. Okay, we are doing a negative comparison here. 唔夠太陽咁大. Okay, in Chinese, not as big as the sun. 唔夠佢咁大.